Hello guys and welcome to another video in my channel. My name is Sebastian Cavasoli and today you're watching a time-lapse of a stream I did on Twitch. So again, it's a skin of the game Fall Guys. The previous video, if you didn't see it, was the default character skin, I mean with nothing extra. So if you didn't see, I recommend you going ahead and checking that video out and then come back to this video. So here we're creating the first skin, and yeah, this is the first skin you actually have in game also. I chose this skin because it was the easiest to grab reference because I have it already in game, so I can spin it around and take some pictures into that pure ref scene, and also because I find it super ultra cute. Look at those eyes, they look at you and you just love him. Besides that, as you noticed, this character has a lot of fur to him. I really like how the sculpted fur looks into the characters, so I wanted to do some fur practice in ZBrush, and it was a nice practice. So what about you guys? I want to know about you. What do you think about this game? Do you play it? Do you like it? What stages are the best for you? What are the most difficult stages for you? Also, I would love to know if you have any favorite skin, for example, that you would love me to model, to sculpt. So please let me know in the comment section below. Guys, I don't actually know what else to say about this model, so I will leave that time-lapse running and talk about some questions that I receive very frequently. So the first question that I receive the most would be in Blender when I have that toolbar, because it was on the old version, the 2.79, called Sculpt Tools, and I could unify some meshes and do some cool stuff with the sculpt with that toolbar that wasn't there by default. People want to know how do I activate that, and let me tell you that it's an add-on called Sculpt Tools that it doesn't exist anymore in the 2.8 and above. I think I didn't come back and research for that, since in the 2.8 we have a new tool called Remesher that it works just like Dynamesh, and I think like with that tool we don't need anymore that Sculpt Tools add-on to sculpt, so it can be out there, but I didn't even search for it anymore. It was a cool add-on though. Next question is, what tablet do I use? Do I use a tablet? Do I use a mouse? Can you even sculpt without a tablet? And you can sculpt without a tablet. I used to sculpt only with the mouse because I didn't have a tablet when I first began sculpting, and I liked it really much, so I wasn't stopping just because I didn't have a tablet. So I started sculpting with the mouse, and I did a bunch of characters only with the mouse. And if I have to give a tip for you guys about how to sculpt with the mouse and not being frustrated with this experience, I recommend you lowering the strength of all the brushes and activating sometimes when you need it the lazy mouse in ZBrush, and if it's in Blender, the stabilize stroke in Blender. With those two things, I think you should be able to sculpt pretty well only with the mouse. Also, I use the mouse, I continue using the mouse because I like it. I really like using the mouse, especially for the blocking phase, and sometimes I use it even for sculpting some parts. When I bought my first tablet, it was a Huion H610 Pro. I liked it, but I didn't like it for sculpting. I don't know why, I couldn't get used to it, so I continued using the mouse for a long time after I decided, okay, I have to get comfortable using this tablet, and I started forcing myself to use it. And yeah, when I got used to it, I think it's much better using a tablet for some stuff, and for some stuff I don't like it. I continue not liking it. For example, with the blocking and I don't know, everything that has to be with poly modeling, I prefer much more the mouse. But yeah, it depends on you guys. So what tablet do I use nowadays? Now I have a Huion Canvas GT 156 HD V2 These names, guys, I don't know why they put these kind of names on the tablets. They should be easier to say, right? So the next question is, how long have I been sculpting for in my life? Not this character. And that's a nice question. I started using 3D software Blender actually when I was 15 years old, and today I am 24 years old. So 9 years ago I started using Blender. My brother showed me an animation in Blender in YouTube, and I really liked it. I had no idea about 3D, no idea about Blender or any other 3D software. I had no idea about animation. I didn't know about nothing. But I knew that I really liked that, so I wanted to try out some stuff just for fun. So I downloaded Blender and started playing around with some Minecraft animations. I had a lot of fun. It was nice to do. It's actually sucked. I mean, I sucked at animation and at anything about 3D. I have those animations recorded somewhere. I would like to show them to you guys when I reach 25,000 here in YouTube as a celebration. I would like to show you guys my old works, my first stuff I created in 3D. It's really it's really funny. I was like super happy just doing random stuff in Blender. I remember I used to watch any random tutorial about anything, and yeah, just do it because I liked it. Those were a bunch of years that I learned 3D, I learned Blender, but without any objective, without anything in mind, without anything clear, right? I was just going through tutorials and animation and modeling and texturing and all that things, like even simulations of water, things that have nothing to do with creating characters, with modeling and that stuff. Actually, modeling was the last thing I learned to do because I used to download models and fool around with that. Animation, I liked to, I don't know, grab the game models like League of Legends and World of Warcraft models online and play with them, like rig them and animate them. I sucked at rigging, I sucked at animation, but I had fun doing that stuff. I can't say that I didn't learn anything doing all that stuff, but I also can't say that I learned for what I do now. It's like a little bit of both, because those first years were zero modeling, zero characters, zero nothing about what I do today, but I really learned a lot about Blender. When I realized that I had a passion for this, that I liked modeling much more than any other thing, that I wanted to dedicate myself to modeling, to creating characters, that's when I started learning modeling characters. When I started sculpting, I didn't know what sculpting was, and that's when I started really learning, you know. But having that experience with Blender, with the software already, that helped me a lot, so that I hadn't have to deal with technical stuff and just go into the artistic side of sculpting and not worrying about where do I get this tool, where to find this, how to use this software. And also doing that, I got a little bit of experience for the general pipeline of how everything works in 3D. So when I started working in Globant, I already knew how the pipeline worked because all of those years. So it wasn't a waste of time at all. So answering the question, the main question here is, how long have I been sculpting for? And it was around, let me check, I actually uploaded my first sculpt. I uploaded to my YouTube channel, so it should be here. I'm checking right now. I'm going down to the first video of my channel, and it was 2 years ago. You can, if you scroll all the way down on my channel, you can see my first sculpts. It isn't really the first sculpt I made. I think I did like two or three sculpt tests before this, But yeah, here I started my journey. Putting these questions aside for 1 second, I wanted to tell you that this process was really fun, but I have to say, in some moment ZBrush crashed and it was so horrible. You will see it later. I lost like half an hour or an hour of work and it wasn't that fun. And when that happens to you, I think you have like 3 choices to make. First choice would be like, okay, leaving that there and just being mad about it and go to your bed and cry and never work again on that model. The other choice is making a little pause, like some minutes, an hour, some hours, or even a day, and come back to work that after you've calmed down, and that will be nice. And the other option is just forget about the crash. Think like, okay, if ZBrush crashed or any other software crashed, I have the opportunity to make this even better than it was before. So if you take it like that, I'm sure you will get a better result than before, and you will continue and not lose time. So that's what I decided to do. I was super sad, super sad, don't take me wrong, but yeah, I have those choices and I chose to think about it like that. Like, if the software crashes, you have the opportunity to make it again, knowing all that you already experienced with the first time you sculpted, and doing it this time again, but better. The parts of the video that will be repeated, like me working on the same piece before the crash and after the crash, that parts I cut it from the video because it doesn't make sense to have those repeated and make the video longer, so you won't see exactly what part of the process I lost. So coming back to the questions, the next question, believe it or not, is, do you have any courses, Sebastian? And I do. I have 3 courses actually, online courses. The 3 of them are above 18 hours of content. Those 3 courses are online at Udemy. I will put the link of these courses in my description so that you can check them out. But I have to say they are not in English. I have one course that is in Spanish, the same course in Portuguese with the same content but a different final characters and assignment that we do together so that we can differentiate them easier. Both of these courses are focused on sculpting in Blender. I separated the course in 8 chapters. That in the first one is an introduction of what is sculpting, how can we use Sculpt in Blender, how do you set up your graphics tablet if you have any. We talk about the viewport, the preferences. Then the second chapter is about the sculpt mode. We talk about the workflow, the pipeline, dynamic topology, remeasure, the multi-resolution. And then we have another chapter, the chapter 3, where we talk all about the brushes. We go brush per brush, talking about them and how to set them up if you have any cool setting that you can make. The chapter 4 is about blocking. We actually take a look first at a little bit about the symmetry, how to play with the symmetry in Blender, how to set up your viewport for sculpting, and we create 2 blockouts from 0, explaining every step. And I leave you some practice with some cool designs made by an artist called Lailton Souza. And then we go ahead to chapter 5. In this chapter we sculpt some practice objects, and after this chapter we are ready to start with the final character. So chapter 6 we make the blocking and the sculpt of our main character. Then the chapter 7 is about posing, how to pose the character and that stuff. And the chapter 8 is all about rendering. Everything we do in these courses are explained from 0, meaning I assume you don't know anything about this. And yeah, the only thing you need to know is a basic knowledge about Blender, like how to move around, what is the edit mode, the object mode, and yeah, that super basic stuff. And they have another course that is in Portuguese again, and that course is a little bit old because it's on the version 2.79, but I will leave the link also for that if you're interested. let me take this moment to thank you all guys that took the courses. You have no idea how much it helps me to continue here, and how happy I am for all the feedback you guys left there on Udemy, for the stars and the comments. And I also really happy to see the things you produce with the course, the practice objects we make in the courses, the blockouts and the characters. Guys, thank you very much, I really love that. Thank you very much to all of you that watched this video, I hope you liked it. And this is the final result of the Mad Wolf skin of the game Fall Guys. I had so much fun streaming, creating this character with you guys. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it and to leave your comment, your question. If you have any question you would like me to answer in the next video, just leave it down there and I will check it out. So I will see you guys on the next video.